Airbnb has no homes, Uber has no cars, Story has no users. This is the new economy. The pitch has also never made sense to anyone who has actually worked with IP licensing. This is Jason Zhao, co-founder of Story Protocol. They raised over $100 million for their intellectual property blockchain, and he's going viral on crypto Twitter with hundreds of quote tweets just roasting him, his project, and what he has done. So in this video, we're going to go over what is Story Protocol, what went wrong, and why people are roasting him, regardless of the price, because the price actually... Now this is the Story Protocol chart, and I've lost money here shorting this, especially in this region, in this stepladder region, where the price went up for no reason while the rest of the market was pulling back, and there's just no demand for the token. As we look at DeFi Llama, $25 million in TVL, and they're not generating any fees. $17 in fees over the last 24 hours, when we can compare it to something like Base. Let's check that out. Close to $5 billion. That's a lot more. That's hundreds of times more, according to math. And over the last 24 hours, they generated over $100,000 in fees. So they're generating revenue. People are using their technology, and that makes sense. But it doesn't make sense when we see $17. That just doesn't make sense. What are people doing there? What is the utility? What is driving value to this token for the price to continue to go up? Now, people are saying it is a crime chart because of low float, where they say the circulating supply is significantly higher than it is. Now, rumors say, according to crypto Twitter, that it's lower than what is reported, because when they report to places like CoinMarketCap, the project reporting to the CoinMarketCap platform, they can say whatever they want. At least that's what I hear. I heard that on the Chopping Block podcast, where they explained that these projects can just say whatever they want because CoinMarketCap can't exactly track the entire circulating supply, where the circulating supply of this token was closer to 1%. And just to translate that, that just means they have more control over the pricing, because not everybody has their tokens and it's easier to manipulate the price, where we see weird things happening in the chart, like it climbing incredibly steadily, especially when we have pullbacks in Bitcoin. This coin continued to pump, and it was just moving a little unnaturally. But what is Story Protocol? Well, AI native infrastructure for intellectual property. And this is something that they changed very recently. They shifted to AI just because that's what you do when you don't have demand for your product. You have to shift to where the narratives are. Now, initially, Story Protocol, also known as IP, was the blockchain, or currently is the blockchain, for intellectual property. So they make sure your intellectual property isn't stolen and you receive royalties when it's used. But that's hard to do. That's incredibly hard to do, and to make money from it, because one, you have to find demand, and two, you have to police those usage rights. So in the real world, Web 2 world, we have Disney, we have Marvel, we have all these big brands that have trouble protecting their intellectual property. Now that's because they don't have a way to enforce those laws in other countries. For example, TVs and movies, that's all copyright material that you should be paying for, but with the internet you can watch for free and not pay for that stuff. If there's no one there to enforce their intellectual property rights, there's nothing they can do about it. And the same thing goes for crypto. Let's say you have Story Protocol, they enforce intellectual property rights on their blockchain, but that doesn't work on other blockchains because there's no incentive for those other blockchains to work with Story Protocol. Now that's all just to say that they got a product that no one is using, that there isn't any demand for, and they've just been struggling for the last few months. Now, if you want to understand more of the insider trading side of things and how cryptocurrencies can fake that demand and play all these games with their different market makers, and how other blockchains and projects have done this before, this is the best podcast I can recommend. And I highly recommend following Vana Charmer or Mosley on X because in this podcast, they dive deep into the things that are happening behind the scenes that we don't know about. And when I watched this, I learned so much about the crypto industry that it just made me bearish on a lot of things happening. And it's been putting me more in a conspiracy mindset where I'm mostly thinking, how are these projects taking advantage of users? How are they trying to get money? How are they trying to exit? Or are they actually building for the long term? So if you watch this episode, I'm pretty sure you're going to get significantly better at crypto and you'll probably be more pessimistic about the entire industry. But it is a very good watch, so be sure to check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. And while you're here, I want to shill Paradex, a decentralized exchange where they have a point system where you can earn experience points for their upcoming token launch. And as you know, if it is a good product that generates revenue, that can result in a good airdrop. Good product, revenue, good airdrop. And with Paradex, you can currently trade futures and options for major tokens. So if you want to get started with Paradex, I will leave a referral link in the description. So what did Jason Zhao say that is getting everyone really upset? Well, after 3.5 years of building Story from scratch, I'm stepping out of my full-time role. I'll stay closely involved as a strategic advisor while incubating Poseidon, so he's starting another project. I rekindled my original passion from my DeepMind days, applying AI to frontier industries like science and space. It's time for me to fully pursue this path. Now, Story enters Chapter 2 with Sai at the helm, Andrea as our new CPO, Sandeep as a Chief AI Officer. And as I embark on my next venture, I won't be going far as Story plans to partner and invest. To sum that up, he's leaving Story Protocol and will remain as a strategic advisor, but will be focusing on his new project that he's incubating called Poseidon that has something to do with AI. So what are people saying? Launched an EVM fork, did nothing, walked away. And a reply to that, he won. Airbnb has no homes, Uber has no cars, Story has no users. This is the new economy. A comic by Bold Leonidas, 6-month vesting cliff, founder takes off, VCs get away, retail gets dumped. Sterling says, it is our tacit responsibility to resist these types of people. They are here to extract. They contribute nothing. Bully them when they try to come back and do it again. Advark says, cheat sheet for the uninformed, crypto company announcement translation guide. Today is my last day at blank. I am quitting because of massive fraud and looming legal actions. We are excited to announce our expansion to this island. We are under investigation by the CFTC. Adam Cochran says, honestly insane how many of these tier 1 backed VC companies have the same story. Co-founders from some prestige background sell VCs on some pie-in-the-sky concept that no one wants, raise over $100 million, hire random roles like a chief AI officer for a non-AI startup, have 0 users, exit via OTC deals, becoming a multi-millionaire, step back right before vesting renews. IP Protocol made $24 in revenue yesterday. The pitch has also never made sense to anyone who has actually worked with IP licensing. Here's what Sasal is saying. The double standards in this industry are honestly ridiculous. Countless examples of founders, especially L1 founders, essentially exit scamming their own projects after making 9 to 10 figures by producing absolutely nothing of value. These people are supported by the largest VCs and other influential people in this industry, and it's just all a part of a giant grift game of extracting as much money from uninformed investors as possible. Generational exit, $130 million in funding from VCs, Grayscale Trust and Treasury for max bid from TardFi, traditional finance, people. One of the best crimed up charts in the history of crime. Less than 1% float, allowing it to sustain a $6 billion valuation on a $45 revenue chain. Exit at the top, $6 million after TGE. Lloyd Liu, I really can't stand crypto when I see stories like this. Why are people like this given a platform? Why does A16Z hand him tens of millions just to sell some random narrative nobody cares about? He was super cocky and even see the fundraise as a major achievement, now walking away with a lot of money and zero contribution. Why always post TGE and not pre TGE? Well, that's because they make a lot more money. Classic playbook: start your L2 with 69 fancy words, rake in huge funds, launch tokens, make a story, leave to the next one. Captain Nemo. Turns out the real product was the cliff all along. So that's the vesting cliff. Their product was to make sure the token had value when they could exit. And some good comments here: bearish on attractive founders. So if you're not familiar with these people, this is Rushi from Movement Labs or Movement Foundation or Movement Chain. I forgot the exact name. We have Mo from Aptos. We have this lady from Morph L2. It was the consumer blockchain for BitGet, but just didn't gain traction. And now we have Story Protocol added to that list, all within the past year. Now, if you want to read more comments and see what people are saying, you can go to the tweet, or you go into the post and you select the repost button. That's going to give you a couple options. You actually have to be in the post to see view quotes, and make sure you're in quotes up here and not reposts, because there are a lot of different insights that you could see here. I actually like this one: fake ass founders. You have Tuxedo Mask coming in. My job here is done, but you didn't do anything, and he's gone. So that's how you can find more quality information against some of the posts you might already be reading. Alright, so we learned a lot of people are saying bad things about them, but they weren't saying this early on. Well, there were a few people that were saying that. Vanna Charmer, Mo, he was on that podcast. He was calling out the story or intellectual property chain. He called out other projects too, like Movements Labs. I've already forgot the name of their chain. He called out Soul Layer. He called out Mantra. And there are a lot of different coins doing crime. Crime, allegedly, we'll just say that, where they are taking advantage of people's trust, where markets can be manipulated, and they take money from retail investors and bring it to themselves. So we want to avoid that. We want to stay skeptical. We want to read the comments, find out what people are saying about them, and build up our own opinion that way. And if you're looking for a community to help you do that, I recommend Off-Brand Crypto. There's a link in the description. That's me, Josh, and some other people who help you learn more about what you're investing in, different trends, and it's a good way to still be skeptical just so you can learn more about what you're investing in. And if you want to support this channel, liking, commenting, saying things, always helpful. And I have a link to Paradex in the description where you can earn points for their upcoming airdrop. And with that, I hope you got your full value for today.